Let's talk Candace Owens and King Face. Alright, so I watched the interview with Candace Owens and King Face. For those who don't know Candace Owens, she's a conservative, a African American conservative that stands behind Trump and his beliefs. That's my belief. And King Face is a New York black activist, I believe. I think that's how he builds himself. He got a movement. I think it's called the Conservative Thug. Okay, so I'm normally on the opposite ends of all the rhetoric that they spill, but I checked out this new interview with Candace Owens and King Face, and I found it very interesting. First off, they start on the George Floyd situation, and they start on the George Floyd situation, and they talk about the same thing Candace Owens touched on in her rant that had everybody in the uproar. They was talking about his criminal past, his drug habits, but they did note that his death was a homicide. Lack of better words, it was a homicide. So they did agree with that, but they felt the need to go into his criminal past. And this one particular incident that they was bringing up about George Floyd, I guess he had a home invasion. He pretended that he was with the water company, and then when the lady opened the door, he supposed to have rushed in the house, put a gun to her stomach. Now that's horrible. That's horrible. And I usually don't. That's why I know in the streets, man. I'm gonna say because in the streets they do jump to assumptions and they do, tell half truths. And like the saying say, a lie is more believable than the truth. So when they was talking about the situation when he allegedly busted in a house and stuck the gun to the lady's stomach. Okay, that's horrible. But just like the incident, you felt like it was justified for you to dig into his past of his drug use and his criminal history, that he been to the penitentiary 9 times or the county jail 9 times. Did you do any research on the situation with the lady, the pregnant woman? See, the only reason I bring this up is because, like I said, I'm from the streets. And don't get it twisted, women is never above it all. In a lot of cases, women are the cause of a lot of this stuff, that happens in the city, believe it or not. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Now, I know this kind of crazy, but let me just throw a scenario out there. And you tell me, would it change anything? Okay, what if that was the plugs house? And they went in there to rob the house because it was drugs in there. A big drug dealer. The plug is a big drug dealer that supplies a lot of people, a lot of other dealers with drugs to sell to the community. That's killing the community. That's having children without food on their table. That's having fathers murdered in the streets over drug wars and territorial or money. So you get the picture. So what if that was the plug's house? And she was in there condoning all the escapades that he was doing, all the drugs he was selling. She was reaping the benefits. And they went in there to rob the plug. She happened to be there. He put a gun to her stomach and say, "Take me where the money and drugs are." Now she condoning all this. She's wearing her Gucci, Louis, bills are paid, while other people in the streets are hooked on this drug, overdosing off this drug, ruining all families, ruining lives. Do that. Would you look at that and say, George Floyd, you don't blame him for going to rob, putting the gun to his stomach and making him take him to the drugs? No, you wouldn't. Because no matter what she did, doesn't justify the fact that he forced his way into her home and put a gun to her stomach. It doesn't justify it. So why even bring it up? Is it important to the investigation that he been in jail 9 times? What I would say is important to the investigation that he was high. That can tell a story right there. But he was in cuffs. And he stood on his neck for 8 minutes. Okay. Then King Face, he touched on Nipsey Hussle. You know, like why wasn't Black Lives out there turning up or making a ruckus when Nipsey Hussle was murdered? I totally agree with him with that. Nipsey Hussle was definitely something special. He was making all the right moves. He was helping the people in his community. He was touchable. Not in a sense how he got touched, but how often can you go to a neighborhood store where you can actually see a major artist, somebody that's on TV, somebody that's in movies? He was something special. And that savage ass nigga took him. Because he ain't had shit to live for. He ain't had shit to go on. He was blinded with hatred. And for him to do that, he knew that he could never walk in that man's shoes. But he's still out here roaming free. I mean, he's still alive. So I did agree with King Face when he spoke on that. And then he touched on the fact when you come in contact with the police, just comply. That sounds like the logical thing to do. Just comply. But me being where I'm from, I know it just don't happen like that. You get demeaned, treated like an animal, treated like a piece of shit. No, animals get treated way better than what we used to get treated like. I had an officer one time ask me why I was outside, hanging on the corner with my friends. Asked me was I out there selling crack. I had my high school basketball tracksuit on, book bag on. And he asked me, he went on to insult my mama. Asked me was my mother on somewhere on the crack. I suck a dick for crack. I told him, fuck you. He punched me in the mouth. It was a white cop. True story. Other times, I get pulled over. They done took a couple of my cars, impounded them, locked me up, dropped the charges. 2 weeks later, car been in the impound for 2 weeks at $95 a day. You get the understanding, right? But to his to his credit, I have had encounters with the police which led to me riding off with a ticket or just letting me go. Now, I'm not saying all cops are bad. My little brother was a cop. I'm not saying all cops is bad. But I'm not saying they all good either. It's like the roll of the dice, man. So, you know. And then they touched on the topic which I feel like they had a point too, when they say the black community culture is disrespectful. Our women are disrespectful. Our kids are disrespectful. Our men is disrespectful. And that's true. That's true. Since I transitioned my life from being in the streets to trying to be a professional man, a business owner, and try to conduct myself like a man, respectable man, somebody that my sons can look up to, and my daughters, and my nieces and nephews. I get reminded every now and then when I'm not talking to a respectable man, how disrespectful our people can be. Threaten you, call you out your name, call you bitch ass nigga, trying to provoke you. And I used to feel like all my life, I feel like, man, no motherfucker gonna talk to me like that. And I still feel like that. But I gotta remind myself, this little encounter gonna last here a bit of 5-10 minutes or shorter. And I can go home to my family, continue to handle my business and provide. Or I can engage in this situation. I can end up taking someone's life or getting mine taken. And I feel like that's a real man that can walk away. I know your parents probably told you that coming up, or all depends on what kind of parents you have, because they probably told you to engage in that behavior. I done seen it all, man. So I did agree with them on that. Another topic that they discussed was, why do we in the black community celebrate people that come home from prison more than we celebrate people that come home from college? I have seen that too, so that's another check for them. But for the sake of this video not being too long, when I started the video, I told you that I'm normally on the opposite side of what these two individuals had to say. But me watching and listening, I don't know if it was just this particular conversation that they was having, but a lot that they was saying was making a lot of sense. I don't know if I can't stand Candace Owens because she support Donald Trump, which I think he's a piece of shit. And I'm a good judge of character. I see it, man. I see it. I don't know if I can't stand her because she support him. And if that's the case, what does that say about me? I don't know if I can't stand to watch too much of King Face material just because who he support, the president of the United States, Donald Trump. So I got to think about that. Why am I blocking out what these people are saying just because I don't like who they stand with? In the streets, that's enough. In the streets, that's enough not to fuck with somebody. But as an adult and a man that's trying to raise men, I don't know if that's enough no more. So just think about, man, who you follow. Do your own research. And just be true to you. No matter if it's the popular thing, if you stand for something, everybody might move away from you. People gonna love you for you. If they really for you, they gonna love you for you. And that's real. And I'm not saying just because this one interview now I ride with them. No, not at all. But because of this one interview that I watched of them, I'm going to watch another. You know? So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I found the interview was it was a good interview. I feel like it was a good interview. It was informative. I agree with a lot of things they said when they spoke on the black community. Cause this shit gotta stop. Black Lives Matter. Get your ass where y'all need to be. If y'all just all about the donations, let it be known. That's what y'all here for. The people who started Black Lives Matter, I'm hearing a lot of different things about them. I don't know if it's true. I got to do my research. Today was an emotional day for me. Won't lie about it. I've seen a lot in my life. But I hope and pray that I get to see a lot more. And do my part to leave this world better than what I found it. But till next time, it's your boy Cali26, man. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.